Hello, everybody. Welcome in to this episode of Unwritten. We are here. I am Colin McGuire, co-host with Jess Wilt. How are you, Jess?
I'm good, Colin. How are you?
I'm fantastic. We have a very special guest, a very, very special guest. Tina Combs, welcome in. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm tired. I know Jess is tired. I think I'm losing my voice a little, so I apologize for that. But we wanted to have you on because you are leaving the chamber, correct?
That is correct. I am.
There's a lot to get into. I'll start with a very basic question, then Jess can pick up if you'd like. But I want to go all the way back to the beginning. What brought you to the chamber to begin with? How did you end up with this job?
Oh, wow. You are going back a ways. Well, we moved here. We moved here in 1991, so we were already living here. I worked for the city of Winchester for 18 years, and I just so happened to see the job posted for this job at the chamber, and I was not looking for a job, but it just looked like such a great opportunity. I was happy in my job. I had planned just to stay 12 more years. I'd have my 30 years in, and there just something really appealed to me. The biggest thing that appealed to me was to be able to work in the community where we lived. And because I was living in Berkeley County, working in Winchester. Of course, our kids were going to school here in Berkeley County, and I would take time off and help at their school parties and things like that. But I just never felt like I was really contributing to this community. So I applied for the job. I had never worked in a chamber before. So of course, I'm applying thinking there's no way I'm going to get this job because I've never worked in a chamber before. But the work that I was doing in Winchester, I was doing Main Street kind of work like Randy Lewis does here in Winchester, and obviously I got the job, and it was just one of those things that I knew in my heart if I did not take the opportunity, I would regret it for the rest of my life. And it was just a great move. I was sad to leave the city of Winchester. It's exactly what's going on right now, 17 years later. But I was sad to leave the city, but so excited about the opportunity. And here I am 17 years later, still here, but again, I'm sad to leave, but excited about the opportunity.
It sounds like that's kind of a not frequent, but it's come back again that you didn't necessarily expect to leave this job to go into teaching. What made you go this direction?
Well, I have always been involved in the schools in several different areas and just always been very interested in education. I happened to see a job on the vacancy list. And again, I wasn't looking for a job, but I make myself aware of all the jobs that are out there because people often call me and say, hey, I'm looking for a job. Do you know of anything? So I try to make sure I kind of, I don't know everything about what's available, but I try to keep myself aware, especially the big employers like Berkeley County Schools, the hospital, and people like that. I saw this job on the vacancy list for a business and marketing education teacher. And I thought, man, I would love to do that. That's right in my wheelhouse. And, I'm not, I have a degree, but it's not in education. And I just thought, well, there's just no way I could do that. And I just kind of, even though I know there's some alternative certification programs out now, and there's a lot of push to get people to be career switchers and to come into education. So I didn't think anything more about it. And to make a long story short, I happened to see it on the vacancy list a couple of more times. And I saw it a couple of weeks ago and I almost ignored it, but it was honestly, it sounds silly, but there was just something that was like pushing me, check into it. And I did, to see what I would have to do, with 35 years of business experience, a bachelor's degree, what I would have to do to teach in Berkeley County. And that's how it all started. And I just knew in my heart that if I did not take the opportunity, that I would regret it. And I was probably going to maybe retire in 4, 5, 6, 8 years from the chamber and then do something else. And I was afraid if I waited till that point, that job wouldn't be available again. People, Mrs. Meadows at Musselman High School, she was there over 30 years. People just stay, which is great. They love it and they stay. So again, I just felt like I would regret the opportunity if I did not take it. So it's sad to leave here. Again, it's the exact same thing that happened to me 17 years ago. It's sad to leave here, but I'm really excited about the opportunity.
that brings me to a quote. We recently did a story in the paper on you leaving, and I'll read the quote. You just kind of said it a couple minutes ago, but you said, quote, "I had intended to retire in 4 or 5 years and wasn't looking for a job, but sometimes an opportunity arises and you just know in your heart that you have to go for it." Now, does that mean you could go and be in this job for, you said 4 or 5 years? Could you stay for 10, 15 if you really get
Oh,
inspired?
yes. Now my plan to retire in 4 or 5 years has changed. Yes.
So,
Yeah, that has definitely changed. I hope to stay for quite some time. I'm still not too old and feeble to go a while longer. So, but yeah, that's not my plan now.
okay. So that, is there, I mean, I could probably speak for Jess when I say we would both love to retire right now, but
Yes.
we will probably never be able to retire. Is retirement something you think you will want to do someday eventually?
Yes,
Okay.
I will. Yes. And here at the chamber, I love this job. I've loved every minute of it. Truly I have, but it's a 50 and sometimes 60-hour week job. And it's a lot, a lot to juggle, a lot to do, a lot of stress. And I know being a teacher is a lot to do, a lot of hours, a lot of stress. I know that. I know it's not an easy job. I'm not saying that at all. But so that's why I was, originally I was thinking maybe in 5 years I would retire, but I'm too young to draw anything, so I'd still have to get another job. But now that's not my plan. Now I will stay, I'll be a teacher for a while, hopefully, if they'll have me.
I'm sure Miss Kleppner's thrilled you're coming.
Well, and that was the other thing. I've known Miss Kleppner for a while. She was the assistant when my kids were there. And in fact, my oldest son is a teacher. She hired him his first year teaching there. He's at Spring Mills High now. But so, being in South Berkeley, and we live in South Berkeley, my kids both graduated from Musselman. It's just, and Miss Kleppner and her team are fantastic. I know I know a good many of the people that are there, not all of them certainly, but I just know it's a great place to work, has a great reputation, the facilities are outstanding. But of course it's like that at all 32, 33 schools in Berkeley County. We have great leadership in our schools and also at the board office. So it's a great place to work.
Kind of going to the past now, you've been at the chamber for 17 years. And even just recently, we've watched downtown grow and the county grow. I think Mac Warner sent out a press release today just talking about the number of businesses coming to the area. What's it been like to watch that change?
Yeah, it's, we have seen tremendous growth here, and the pandemic really didn't slow things down, thankfully. I mean, we definitely had people in a rough spot there for a while last year, but we have a very resilient business community. People dug their heels in and figured out what they needed to do to survive, and they did. And with our proximity to DC and with 81 and 70, we're in just such a great location for businesses. Sandy Hamilton at the Development Authority does a fantastic job recruiting new businesses. She's working on who knows how many projects right now. I don't know how she keeps everything straight in her head. But yeah, we're in a great place. We've seen a lot of growth in the chamber in the 17 years, as far as members go. And, it's good. Of course, we've seen a lot of growth in residents too here in Berkeley County, and I think we'll continue to see that.
Was this something you always wanted to do? Did you always want, like, growing up, I don't even know that I knew what a chamber was. I don't even knew like what that function was in a city or an area. Was this something you have always wanted to do?
No, not necessarily. I've always wanted to work in the community, but it wasn't like I had in mind that I wanted to work at a chamber of commerce. But I knew working here would give me an opportunity to be involved and to give back to the community. And that's what really appealed to me, to be able to work where we live. I lived here, worked in Winchester. I just felt so disjointed, working in one place and living in another. And, I felt like I wasn't contributing anything to this community, and that bothered me. So being able to, to contribute something to the community, and I'll continue to be able to contribute as a teacher. So it's a win-win for me.
We should say too, or to you, what is the chamber's role in a community? How would you define that?
Well, the Chamber's role is to support the business community and the community as a whole. We are a membership organization, and a lot of people think we're part of the government and we get government funding, which we do not. We are totally funded by our members with dues and with sponsorships and events and things like that. So our mission statement is very simple: to facilitate the economic progress of our members. And that's what we focus on. And we have a very diverse membership, from a home-based business all the way up to the big folks like P&G and the Clorox is coming, and Quad and Macy's and all those folks. So we have a very diverse business community. So we provide all sorts of different types of services and programs to support our community. If you have a healthy business community, you have a healthy community. So we see our job as helping our businesses and also getting information to the businesses about our community and getting information to the community about our businesses. So we're a conduit for information. And that's why, again, back to my earlier story about trying to know who had what jobs open, we get calls for everything you can imagine people needing help with. And we just try to make sure that we're aware of everything that's going on. And our business community, the more they know about what's going on in the community, the better they can do their jobs as well.
You mentioned the events. I feel like that has to be one of the more fun parts of the job, because you guys host such cool events. What's that been like, being a part of these kind of traditions in the community?
Yeah, the events are a lot of fun. They're a lot of work. And but they are a lot of fun. And and we also, like, I serve on the Main Street board, so I've been involved. Main Street does lots of great events, like the Fridays at 5 and the Chili Fest and all that kind of thing. So it's great to be involved with all of that. Our events are very informational, again, for our members, or they're training, leadership training. We have our Leadership Berkeley program, and so we just do lots of different things. But they are a lot of fun, but I always say it takes a lot of work to make them look that fun. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. So when the event's being put off, it looks like it's seamless, and that's what we want. But there's a lot of work that goes on before that, and it's great, but there's a lot of work that goes on to make it look like that.
Do you have a favorite memory in the 17 years you've been there?
Oh gosh. Oh my, no.
You have no good memories. They were all bad memories.
No, they're all good. I could not pick one. Honestly, I've been blessed to work with so many wonderful people. The staff in here are great. There's only 3 of us. Our office manager has been here for almost 43 years. She's been wonderful. Our marketing and events director, Natalie Klein, has been here for 5 years. We have a great staff. So there's 3 of us that take care of 500 members, 500 plus members, and all of our 150 events programs. But we certainly couldn't do that without all of our volunteers. We have lots of people who volunteer. And, it's just been such a blessing to meet all these people, to be involved in the community, to know people. I've been able to be in contact with our legislators, which is great, to be part of that process. But, our nonprofit, our human services community, just all the different pieces. I've often thought, if I had not taken this job, I would have missed meeting all of these wonderful people. And, it's just been, and I'll still, I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to be here. So, it's just such a blessing to have been able to work and meet with these people. And I cannot think of one favorite thing. I am not exaggerating or joking when I say I have loved every minute of it. I truly have. It's been wonderful. And it's sad to leave. It's hard to leave. I mean, I almost didn't do it because it was like, man, I don't know if I can leave or not, but I just something told me if I didn't, I would regret it.
Colin, do you have any more? Do you want to jump in?
Yeah, no, I thought it looked like you were going to say something. Well, along those same lines, though, during your time there, I guess I won't go the biggest accomplishment or your proudest moment, but what are a couple of your proudest moments while being there in terms of accomplishment for 17 years?
Well, we've been able to increase our members, and we've been able to increase the programs that we provide to our members. We created a women's network program that has all sorts of programming for both women and men in the community. We've strengthened our Leadership Berkeley program, and we've added lots of different things to enhance people's membership. So one of the things that has just happened, and I'm looking on my desk, I thought I had it. we just launched this app too. And I'm so glad we were able to get that done before I left. But we launched an app, Welcome to Berkeley County app. We just launched it a couple of weeks ago. And we talked to Emily today about it. So I think it's going to be in the paper this week, a little bit more about it. But the purpose of the app is to help people who move to the area to know who to call to get hooked up, to how to get their, their driver's license changed, the tag on their vehicle, where do they go for taxes, and how do they change their address. And it's supposed to be a one-stop shop for everything you need to know when you move here. The events, the businesses, healthcare, education, anything you would want to know. But it's also geared towards people who've lived here forever. So they can also keep up with the events and the businesses and that type of thing. So it's a big project, and we're still working. I mean, the app is live. We have 500 downloads so far. And but we're going to continue to enhance the app. But everyone uses these now, even my 80-year-old mother and father. So they know how to use it. They know how to find things. So we used to give people a relocation packet on paper when they were coming to the area, and that told them who to call for all this stuff. Now all they have to do is this, and they can find it. We'll still have it available if people don't have a smartphone, but we want people to be able to find it easily and get acclimated to the area easily and quickly. So it's a big project. So it's I guess that's going to be my last hurrah.
Was there anything over the 17 years that maybe didn't get done that you hoped would get done? Things that you left on the table that kind of will stick with you?
Well, I've had my wish list going for 17 years, and there's still things on the wish list, just different programming, nothing, earth shattering or anything, just different things I didn't get done. Like I said, we have 3 people on staff here, and we do the work of a chamber that normally has 5 or 6 people. And I'm proud that we do all that we do. We're focused and making sure that we're supporting our members. So there's always more, improvements that can be made. There are always more programs that can be created. But, right, and the new person that comes in, they'll be able to, decide what they think would be best to move forward. So I do truly believe that I'm leaving the chamber in a better place than I found it. Not that it was in a bad place when I came 17 years ago, but, so I feel very comfortable with that, and I feel good about what I'm leaving. And, I know the next person will do a great job, whoever that person may be.
I'm glad you said that, because I have one more question before we get to some fun things. Not that these questions haven't been fun. I like to remind everybody. Jess has heard me say that a million times and she's so sick of it. But you just brought up the next person. If there's one piece of advice you'd give the next person coming in, what would it be?
Don't have an ego. This is not about you. This is about the community. It cannot be about the person sitting in this chair. It has to be about the community.
Okay.
No.
Are there any things that this person should look out for? Any pitfalls? Is it tempting to let your ego come into play at all?
I guess it depends on what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean, for me, it was never about Tina Combs. It's always been about the chamber and the community. Are we doing the right thing for the community? Are we doing the best thing? Is what we do, are we being effective? It's not about, whether Tina has to come in at 6:30 to make sure it gets done or whatever. It has nothing to do with that part of it. It's to do with what's needed and getting it done.
Okay, that's fair enough. Now, I'm going to start this out with something I ask all of the time, but of all the guests we've had, you would know better than any of them, I would think.
Uh-oh.
If I want to go out to eat in Berkeley County, where should I go? What's a good restaurant? Oh, I knew it.
Do not ask me that question.
You can't play favorites, Tina.
Oh my gosh, I'm not allowed to just give one.
Oh, give me 5.
Oh gosh, if you're in South Berkeley, Cider Press Grill.
Okay.
That's in Taylor's Farm Market. If you're, oh gosh, oh my, I always tend to go to local places, like Cafe del Sol or Bricks or the Purple Iris or, those kinds of places, or Sweet Hut, those types of places, the locally owned places to support the local the local business people. So, and we have lots of great restaurants. We're getting more, and I think we'll get more as we go along. But we really have we've really gotten some good ones. So,
is there a favorite food that you have? Like, do you go out for Italian, maybe steak, seafood?
Honestly, I don't go out to eat that much. So, I just, and yeah, and I watch my carbs. So, yeah. And I can eat anywhere with doing that, but I don't, we just don't go out to eat that much for some reason.
You touched on that. We have had a lot of growth. The pandemic didn't stop us. But of all the businesses in the county, is there an area you think we're missing, or a type of business you would want to see come in on a personal level, not on a Tina Combs CEO level?
Like everyone else, wouldn't you love to have like a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's or something like that? I would love it if we had something like that here, and more breweries. And I think more breweries are coming, and those types of things that would create experiences for people to come to the community. And so those, and they are coming. It's things just take a long time, and people might not think there's not, if you don't see it or if you're not involved in it, you may not think anything's going on, but there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And things are going to be coming soon in the next couple of years that are going to really be great. So I would just say be patient. But any of those kinds of things would be good. We have some really great boutiques now with Westwood Charm, Serenity, and the Studio. And so we have some great places to shop, but we need more. We need more of those kind of places.
Have you been watching the Olympics? No. That's
probably un-American, isn't it?
I guess so. Well, we'll just move off of that then. I won't
say I've been so busy trying to get things wrapped up here, and then also doing things that I need to do for the schools, that I haven't really had time to watch much TV in the last couple of weeks. And that's the truth.
Okay. Then I'll ask you this. Do you have an all-time favorite movie?
Nope.
No.
I love baseball. Does that count?
Yes.
Sure, I guess.
Baseball.
Who's your favorite baseball team?
The Orioles, and I don't care if they're terrible. I still love them.
We're an awful team to be a fan of.
We've been faithful fans since Memorial Stadium. So, and my granddaughter's name is actually Camden. So that's what kind of fans we are.
I was born the year Camden opened, so I've been an Orioles girl for life.
Right. We're faithful. We're not fair weather friends or fair weather fans.
Have you been to a game this year?
I have not.
Oh.
I have not. Nope.
Okay. Do you often on the summers, do you get to a game maybe once a season?
Yeah, we usually do. And I didn't get to one last year, of course, but I haven't. I've been to some other types of baseball games this summer, but I haven't been to any major league games. I've been to some Coastal Plain League games, and they're a collegiate wooden bat league.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But you all are making me realize I live a really boring life.
No. No, not at all. Jess, you follow that up then. I've got.
You're headed into the school system now. Did you have a favorite subject or favorite teacher growing up?
I loved all the business classes that I took when I was in high school. And, so that was the track. Back in the old days, you either did general, academic, or business. And I went the business track. And that was, I graduated in '83. So y'all can do the math. And so, those were always my favorites when I was in high school, those types of things. So, again, these classes that I'll be teaching are right up my alley and things that I enjoy very much.
Were you passionate about school? Did you like going to school? Were you the type of kid that's like, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. because I just can't get enough school?
I wasn't an overachiever in school. I know I have to do a good job or my parents will kill me. And I did what I needed to do, but I was kind of one of those ones. I probably was smart enough to be like in the National Honor Society, but I didn't apply myself, but I still was on the honor roll. But, so, and then when I was a senior, I left at noon and went to work and that kind of thing. So And I was more worried about, going to work and making money. And again, I did fine. I was on the honor roll, but, I probably would have done better if I had actually studied.
We've seen these teachers with these Pinterest perfect rooms and using technology in such cool ways. What are you most excited about becoming a teacher?
I guess just working with the students, and I have seen those Pinterest perfect rooms. That's hard to say. I'm trying, I'm just trying to just to make sure that I have everything ready and organized and planned. And but I'm most interested in working with the students, and if there's one thing I can do that will help their future, one little thing that would be good. And this is very new to me. Obviously, I've never been a teacher, so I do have a lot to learn, and it's going to be a learning process. I'm trying to be as proactive as I can. I am an overachiever now. And I have been for a while now. I wasn't in high school, 30, 40, whatever it was, 40 years ago. But I am now. So I'm really trying to make sure I'm prepared. And I want to be the best that I can be to give the students a good experience.
This is my last one. Do you have any, Jess? Any after this?
You can wrap it up.
To you, what is the most intimidating thing about stepping into a classroom as a teacher?
I guess it's just the content knowledge, to make sure that I know. I mean, I know a lot about what I'm supposed to teach, but do I know all the standards and exactly how I'm supposed to teach them? I could, if I didn't, like I said, I know a lot about it, but I want to make sure I'm doing it properly. So I guess that's the most intimidating part of it. And I know as I go along, I will be, I'll be fine. I just need to, that's why I need to prepare as much as I can now. That's why I said I haven't been watching the Olympics, because I've done a lot of reading, a lot of prep work that I'm doing right now. So I'm ready for the students on the 23rd. I do truly just want to be the best teacher I can be. I want to be impactful for the students, and, and hopefully give them some nuggets to take with them when they go out into the world.
Well, we'll be rooting for you. Me and Jess will be thinking about you every step along the way. We hope it turns out well. And congratulations on the new job. Congratulations on 17 years at the Chamber. We thank you so much. As you said, you're so busy. So we really thank you for taking the time to talk to us, because we don't know what we're doing. So we hope you had some fun.
Thank you.
And Jess, do you have any parting words?
Just thank you. It's been great to work with you over the last year.
It has, Jess. Thank you all so much for having me on. And, we have such a great community. The people here are wonderful. And, it's just been a blessing to work here. And I'm really excited about working at Musselman High School with all those great people there.
In 20 years, when you retire from teaching, we'll have you on again.
Yeah, in my wheelchair.
All right. Tina Combs, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.